What's up, everybody? Nick Brengle here, and today I'm talking about 5 different pieces of gear that I think are essential for any filmmaker, YouTube creator, photographer. It's just items that I absolutely love, I use all the time, and I recommend them very highly. So there's different videos out there very similar to this where your favorite creators, your favorite filmmakers are sharing their favorite gear and the stuff that they're using all the time, which I've done before, but I wanted to focus in on some smaller items that I really recommend, that I use constantly, and that I do think everybody should have in their toolkit when it comes to filmmaking and making videos on YouTube or working with clients or as a photographer, what have you. So the first piece of gear that I'm going to talk about is the Manfrotto quick release plate. And there's a bunch of different quick release plates out there. Manfrotto, in my opinion, just makes the best quality. And for 40 bucks, I mean, it's a really good investment. So to talk about how I use this quick release plate specifically is with my 3-axis gimbal. So I always have it on my gimbal, and I have the quick release plate attached to my camera. And when I'm out shooting, it's really easy for me to take it off the gimbal if I want to do some handheld shots or take some photos and whatnot, and I'm able to go right back onto the gimbal. Even changing lenses, that makes it easier, and rebalancing it with the quick release rather than just using what the gimbal kind of gives you, just that thread. It's not the easiest thing in the world. And there's plenty of other uses for it. I use it with an overhead rig on my C-stand, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other ways you can use it. But those are the ways that I use it, and it's something that is used every day pretty much for me. So the next item really isn't a piece of gear, rather a tool to keep your equipment nice and clean, is the Giodos Rocket Air Blaster. And obviously what this does is it puffs air out, gets the dust, maybe some small particles off your lens or the sensor. And I use this pretty much before any shoot, along with any kind of like lens cloth or the moist lens cleaners, which I always have a box around. I throw a bunch in my Pelican case to take with me wherever I'm going to make sure my lens is perfectly clean and ready to go. Another piece of gear that is essential, that you must have if you're serious about filmmaking and content creation with your camera, with your lenses, is ND filters, neutral density filters. Sunglasses for your lenses. You absolutely need them, because if you're outside, you're shooting in any type of sunlight, doesn't even have to be sunlight, could be overcast, doesn't matter, and you're trying to get that depth of field, you want that beautiful just bokeh, you're going to need that neutral density filter on your lens to help you maintain the shutter speed and a lower ISO. And then you're able to bring down that f-stop. So if, for example, if you're shooting with a lens that wide open is f1.8 or f2.8 and you're out in the bright sunlight, you absolutely must have a neutral density filter if you want to shoot wide open, because if not, it's going to be completely blown out. Or if you're shooting in some sort of automatic mode, it's going to adjust for ISO or the shutter speed, and you're going to get a very choppy, not sharp, gross, disgusting look. So you need ND filters. There's variable ND filters that adjust from a 0.01 to a 0.09. I don't know how the whole scale works, but that's just the intensity of the ND filters. And you can also just get different ones that are specific for your lens thread. A company that I recommend, I recently found a few months back, called Gobe, G-O-B-E, and you can find them on their website. You can purchase them on Amazon. There's links below, and the prices vary. But when you purchase ND filters from them, they plant trees. So it's sort of a win-win for everybody. So if you've watched a lot of my videos, you've been around for a while, you know that I take audio very seriously. I love audio. I love my microphones. I love the way I edit sound and just take my time with that. And Audio can be very expensive. You can get some really expensive microphones and preamps and all that kind of fun stuff, which you should have eventually. But there's a very inexpensive microphone that I think does really, really well by Rode, and it's the Video Micro. And I think it comes in around $60, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just this tiny little microphone with a 3.5 millimeter jack, and it has the cold shoe adapter. You can throw it right on your Sony or your Panasonic, whatever camera you're using, and it does a really good job of picking up that directional sound right in front of it. I typically am using it in situations where I'm maybe shooting some B-roll or yeah, for the most part, I guess I'm shooting B-roll and I'm just wanting to capture some of that ambient sound or whatever's going on right in that situation. So yeah, I use it all the time when I don't maybe have the time to set up a separate microphone and go back and really capture that sound. It's just, better than using the microphone that's, built into the camera. So it works really well. So I wanted to cover a few different items from different categories of filmmaking, and the last piece of gear is an LED light, the Aperture ALMX, and it's a miniature little LED light. You've probably seen it before. I use it sparingly, probably not as much as I should. I'm trying to use it more. I love it to death. It charges through micro USB, lasts for hours, has a color temperature range from 2800 Kelvin to 6500, and it can get very bright, it can get very dim. It's easy to put in little places and use it as just an accent or a practical light like the one right back here. That's what that is. That's what's happening. And it runs about $149 on Amazon. So, you're going to put out a little bit more to pick this up, but it's really small and compact. It's easy to throw in your bag. And if you're in a pinch, you can use it as a hair light, or, really, if you're really in a pinch, you can use it as your main source. I recommend it highly. It comes with some different diffusers, comes with a nice little case, and it's an all-around really well built piece of equipment. Really, it's very sturdy, and yeah, I've been really happy with it. So that pretty much does it for 5 different items, pieces of gear that I recommend as a filmmaker, as a YouTube creator, that I think you should have in your bag, in your kit, in your Pelican case, along with extra batteries, memory cards, lenses, tripod, gimbal, all the other stuff you need. But these are just some smaller things that you may not think about when you're first starting out, and I use them all the time. So hope you enjoyed this video. If this is your first time coming by the channel, go check out some of my other videos. I highly recommend it. And yeah, if you like this video and you like some of those other ones, consider subscribing. Hit the like button, drop me a line down below, let me know if my mustache is out of control, ask me any questions that you may have. I don't know a whole lot, but you can ask it and I can give you some kind of an answer. So until the next video,